Hi, vinyl community. George Allen here. Vinyl LPs and CDs. So I'm making the video that I mentioned yesterday at the beginning of the 3-power trio video that I did concerning a psych band from Philadelphia. Now this is an older band. They're not together any longer, but it's one that interests me. And actually, I called them a psych band, but their music was labeled as Baroque rock because they had a little bit of a classical influence, and I'll explain that in a minute. The name of the band was Mandrake Memorial, and they were formed around 1967, 66, 67, something like that. And they were a club band in the Philadelphia area, and they came from several different bands, and their lineup was Craig Anderton on guitar, Kevin Lally on drums, Randy Monaco on vocals and bass, and Michael Katz on keyboards. Now originally Michael Katz was also a guitar player, and yesterday we were talking about 4-piece bands versus trios, and they originally were, Michael Katz originally was a guitar player, but he had an opportunity to try a new instrument that was an electronic harpsichord. And he was also played keyboards previously besides guitar, but he was playing guitar with them, and he switched to this electronic harpsichord, and it gave them a different type sound, and it started bringing them a little bit notoriety. And so they had an opportunity in '68 to expand their popularity, and gave them a recording contract with Poppy Records, and they released their first album. It was a self-titled album. It's early in the morning here, and actually if it's early in the morning here, it's probably early in the morning everywhere. But anyhow, they released their first self-titled album, Mandrake Memorial. So I had that album many years ago. It came out in 1968, and it was a very interesting album. I wish I still had it, but like all things, you figure it being quite a bit years old, somewhere along the line I lost it. '69, they came out with their second album, Medium. That one I do have. This is it here, the Mandrake Memorial Medium, and it's a very good album. I liked it. I still like it. And this is what it looks like here on the inside. This is it on the back. And it has that kind of psych, classical type rock sound to it. And especially because they have that keyboard. And very interesting, this Kevin Lally on his drums has an interesting sound. They write their own music, and first song called Snake Charmers, very interesting song. And second side, after Pascal, interesting sound. They do have very interesting music. This is a good album. As you can see, the edge of it in black, that is not the original album design. It's because of me opening and closing it so many times, the cover was falling off. I probably should have done it in white tape, but I don't think back in the late 60s they had white tape like that. So maybe I should redo it in white tape. I did not. What happened was I heard about this group from a friend of mine at college from Philadelphia. I went to the University of Pittsburgh. There was a fellow there that was from Philadelphia, and we were talking one day in the student union, and he said to me, he says, because we were talking about just strange music we'd like to listen to, and he said, hey, did you ever hear of the Mandrake Memorial? I said, never heard of them. He said, well, you ought to check them out. So when I went home, the only places we had one record store that would order stuff for you. Other than that, you had to go to like Woolworths or W.T. Grant's. This is late 60s, and there weren't a prolific number of record stores in my town, just one. So I went there and I said to the guy, I said, hey, you got anything by the Mandrake Memorial? And he says, no, I have nothing by them. He said, let me look them up. So he looked them up in his catalog. He said, oh, he says, I can order it for you. So he ordered this album for me. And so that was 1969. I found out about fall. That was the fall, so I ordered it. It was at Christmas time. He ordered it for me, and so I picked it up when I went home again, because I was going to school in Pittsburgh. I didn't live there at the time, although I lived in Pittsburgh later. So anyhow, as time marches on, so the guy that played harpsichord was Michael Katz. After this album came out, they had some disagreements in the band. He left. Well, the other three guys that were left, they decided to continue on. They did another album called Puzzle. This is it here. In fact, when it came out, I saw an ad for it in Rolling Stone magazine. I thought, man, I'd like to get that album. I didn't know Michael Katz had left or anything, but I thought, that looks like a cool album, doesn't it? And that's Escher, he does these weird drawings like this. So I couldn't find it anywhere. Now, the album I just showed you, Medium, believe it or not, it sold over almost 100,000 copies. I was just reading about it on Wikipedia. Mostly in the New Jersey, New York area. This album is not the original. I could not find this anywhere, and I did not take the time to try and get it ordered. I guess I was into some other things. So I got this off eBay. This is a reprint, and this is a very good album. Some songs have lyrics, some are instrumental, and there's a couple songs on the second side. I think this Lolly, his drumming improved greatly on this album. Either maybe it was recorded better or something, but it's really a great album. And here's a picture of the band. And here's some more of Escher type drawings that comes with it. If you have a chance, get this album. You're not going to find the medium one unless maybe you go on Discogs and find it. But this is readily available on eBay. This is a great album. If you like psych rock, or as for some reason, now there is some electronic effects and stuff on this album. This is really, I think, a really great album. If you want to get some, late 60s, early 70s type psych rock, get this album. It's really worth listening to. I think it's a great collection. If you like that era of music, you'll truly enjoy this. So that's what I got for today. Philadelphia Psych Rock Bands. Alrighty, It's George Allen, over and out.